Hello everybody, this is Pitch Gold Black here, and welcome back to a sort of follow-up and companion piece type of video to my previous video, which was a review on Hammer's The Quatermass Experiment movie, in which today I'm going to be taking a look at kind of physical releases of the Quatermass kind of franchise and what have you, with regards to its TV iteration on DVD and what have you. And to note, I will be kind of focusing on the kind of 50s serials of Quatermass for in this video, because I don't really have much knowledge at all about the 79 Quatermass self-titled serial that was done, and I don't own it either, and I just kind of want to focus on these kind of Quatermass serials as well, because it's kind of a precursor to Doctor Who and what have you, and that's kind of why I'm interested in Quatermass and what have you, as I've detailed in my previous kind of video, which was my review on the Quatermass Experiment by Hammer. Either way, without further ado, let us get into this video, which is me kind of overviewing Quatermass on TV with regards to the 50s serials. Now, Quatermass on TV with regards to the 50s serials is a bit unusual, to say the least. We have this collection here, which collects all of the existing material from the Quatermass Experiment, the complete serial of Quatermass 2, and the complete serial of Quatermass and the Pit in this 3-disc DVD box set. And then here we have Quatermass and the Pit kind of 60th anniversary Blu-ray release. I say this is unusual because, to my knowledge, these are the only two releases kind of ever done for Quatermass on TV, and that is bizarre because the Hammer movies adaptations of these serials have had far more releases and are much more kind of easier to kind of, I don't know, find like a release for with regards to physical media than the TV serials for some reason. For example, this is a double bill kind of disc release of the first two Quatermass movies by Hammer that I own. It's just kind of this kind of bare bones thing where both movies are on a single disc, and you can not only get this on DVD, which I think is a bit rare nowadays. I think I had to pay around 10 quid for this DVD. You can also buy both of these movies standalone, and you can also on DVD, and you can also buy both of them in a special kind of box set, which they have their own kind of cases and what have you, as opposed to being pressed to one disc as this release is. And I believe also that the Quatermass Experiment has been released on Blu-ray in America. And with regards to Quatermass and the Pit and the Hammer movie adaptation, that has had quite a few releases as well. You can buy it on standard DVD in its own case and what have you. You can buy it on Blu-ray in the UK and America, I think, but you can also get it in this massive kind of collection of Hammer movies here, which is a 21 disc DVD box set containing 21 of their movies, and it is one of those 21 movies included. So it's quite interesting and kind of bizarre to think about how many DVD releases that the movie adaptations of Quatermass have gotten in comparisons to the actual TV versions, because you would think that the TV versions would be kind of like a really important thing covered by the BBC and other media kind of releases and what have you quite often, but no, for some reason these are the only real two kind of major and only DVD releases to do with Quatermass and its particular TV iteration for the 1950s, to my knowledge, which is really, really bizarre, but it is what it is, and they are good DVD releases, as I'm about to get into. So if we were to take a look at what is dubbed the Quatermass Collection DVD set released by the BBC, for the front cover we have BBC DVD, the Quatermass Experiment, Quatermass 2 by Nigel Neal, Quatermass and the Pit, 3-disc set DVD video PG, the Quatermass Collection, a seminal BBC sci-fi trilogy, and then there you've got representative artworks for each of the serials. It's a very, very nice kind of cover art overall, and it is a bit kind of reminiscent in a way of the Doctor Who Lost in Time DVD box set in its kind of style and presentation, I would have said. This only did come out a year after that box set, with that set coming out in 2004 and this coming out in 2005, I believe, which is quite fitting because there was a 90-minute live TV remake starring David Tennant and Mark Gatiss of the Quatermass experiment, so I wonder if that prompted this DVD release and this was released to tie into that. And then we have the spine here: Quatermass Collection, Quatermass Experiment, Quatermass 2, Quatermass and the Pit by Nigel Neal, PG and BBC. And then here we have the back of this release with a little kind of synopsis on the overall kind of 50s franchise and iteration of the Quatermass kind of franchise. Then here we've got synopsises on each of the 3 serials, includes collector's booklet, special features included, written by Nigel Neal, produced by Rudolph Cartier, black and white digitally remastered. However, due to the archive nature of the film, the sound picture and quality may vary. Running time is 459 minutes, contains mild horror, violence and language. Writer Nigel Neal's 1950s Quatermass trilogy set an early benchmark for TV science fiction. Despite being played by different actors in each series, the character of Professor Quatermass became one of television's first heroes, and the serials themselves earned a place in small screen history. The Quatermass Experiment, starring Renjol Tate as Professor Quatermass, with Isabel Dean and Duncan Lamont. When a spacecraft crashes back to Earth, Professor Quatermass, head of the British Experimental Rocket Group, rushes to the scene. As the true condition of the sole survivor becomes apparent, Quatermass must confront a seemingly inexorable alien life form. And there you've got the original broadcast dates, and a little thing just to say: only the first 2 episodes exist. Scripts for the remaining 4 episodes are included as a special feature via a PDF, which is a really nice kind of feature and what have you, so you can, like, in a ways get the entire kind of original television story. Quatermass 2, starring John Robinson as Professor Quatermass, with Monica Gray and Hugh Griffith. Mysterious showers of meteorites lead Professor Quatermass on a trail to a factory in a deserted village. What awaits him is a worldwide alien conspiracy that threatens to take over the planet and turn its human population into zombies. Then there you've got the original broadcast dates: Quatermass and the Pit, starring Andre Morell as Professor Quatermass, with Sek Linder, Anthony Bushnell and John Stratton. When ancient bones and something resembling an unexploded bomb are found on a London building site, the military and scientists are baffled. As further astounding discoveries are made, the renowned Professor Quatermass begins to unravel a terrifying thread of chaos and terror. And then once again you've got the original broadcast dates. Special features is the Neal tapes, which I believe is like a big, I think almost an hour long interview with Nigel Neal himself, Cartier and Neal in conversation. Making Demons, which is a little featurette that I have watched, and that is basically production crew assistants kind of going over their memories of how it kind of made the monsters for Quatermass and the Pit, as well as a few other bits and pieces such as to do with Doctor Who and what have you. Photo gallery and scripts for the 4 missing episodes of the Quatermass experiment. And I believe how it is is that Quatermass 2 and Quatermass and the Pit are just kind of bare bones releases with regards to the discs in this box set. It's just the serials on their own representative discs, but the special features are all included on the disc for the Quatermass experiment, which also includes the 2 surviving episodes. So then if we were to open up this DVD box set, we have the booklet on the left there. So then there you've got the first disc for the Quatermass experiment's surviving parts and the special features for the set. And then there you've got the disc for Quatermass 2 and then the disc for Quatermass and then taking a look at the booklet. I won't go over this in a massive amount of detail as it is quite the chunky booklet, but for the cover art, it's basically a replication of the DVD cover art itself, with viewing notes replacing the Quatermass collection, a seminal BBC sci-fi trilogy at the bottom there. And then you've got the kind of start of this booklet. As you can see, it's divided up into chapters. So you've got before Quatermass, the Quatermass experiment, and so on. It's a very, very extensive DVD booklet, as you can see, with loads of writings on the Quatermass kind of saga in the 50s, as well as pictures from the production. Here you've got the start of Quatermass 2. There's one of the things from Quatermass and the Pit. I don't think they were actually given a name in the TV serial itself, but they were dubbed, I believe, the Locusts in the movie version, which is quite interesting. I think one of the more famous shots from the Pit there. And then here you've got the kind of cast and crew members of each of the 3 serials that originally made them. And there you've just got the last page of the booklet itself, ending at page 47. And the back of it is just blank for the most part, with a few kind of copyright kind of notices and what have you at the bottom there. So then moving on to the Blu-ray release of Quatermass and the Pit. So there's a look at the front there with Blu-ray disc, BBC Quatermass and the Pit, includes 8-page collector's booklet, PG there. And for the kind of cover art itself, you've got a very nice kind of 3-dimensional kind of perspective cover art of one of the locusts, as the movie puts it, behind Professor Quatermass there. And then you've got kind of silhouettes of the other 2 in the background, which you might be able to see there. I actually didn't notice them for the longest time. I had this DVD or Blu-ray for like close to a year, and I never noticed that they had put the 2 locusts in the background there, which is a really nice kind of attention to detail. And then for the spine there, Quatermass and the Pit, PG BBC Blu-ray. And then there you've got the back here. You've got 5 pictures from the original television serial, encased in these kind of circular kind of portholes, which I guess emulates the kind of circles and kind of putting in Doctor Who terms, roundels that was on the capsule. Synopsis, special features, written by Nigel Neal, produced and directed by Rudolph Cartier, designed by Clifford Hatt, and music by Trevor Duncan. The runtime is 204 minutes, PG, mild, bad language and threat. And now for the kind of synopsis. Andre Morell stars as Professor Bernard Quatermass in this landmark television classic, now available on Blu-ray for the very first time, and a brand new high-definition remaster from the original film elements. when a strange capsule is unearthed at an archaeological excavation in London. An unexploded bomb is initially suspected. However, with a history of supernatural events in the area going back many centuries, and with the events at the dig site about to take an unexpectedly alien turn, the origins of the capsule are soon revealed to be far more distant than anyone could have imagined. When the capsule is finally opened, something is unleashed upon the streets of London that nobody can control, and mankind's past and future collide with devastating consequences. As for special features, we have brand new commentaries featuring members of the original cast and crew presented by Toby Haddock. Quite interesting to see what kind of crew members are in this and cast members. Quite an interesting one is Mark Eden, who played a kind of interviewer in this serial, I believe, and that's interesting for Doctor Who fans because he would go on like just a few years later to play Marco Polo in Marco Polo of Doctor Who. A newly compiled photo gallery including a number of previously unreleased images from the show's original production, a compilation of alternative title sequences from the BBC archives, Making Demons visual effects featurette, archive documentary content covering the 1958 production. And yes, the Making Demons visual effect featurette is the only special feature ported over from the DVD release collection set. So then this, as you might be able to tell, is a cardboard slip. So taking that off, it is the exact same as you can see here. So in a way it's a bit of a pointless slip, but it is fairly nice to have. And then there you have the lone disc and the collector's booklet on the left there. So taking a look at the booklet, it is nowhere near as in depth as the one for the DVD collection. So you've got a bit about Quatermass and the Pit, the restoration with pictures from the serial, audio commentary, Mark Eden there, as I mentioned, Andy Murray, Keith Banks, Peter Day and Dick Mills, Clive Doig, Toby Haddock, and then the special features, Making Demons, photo gallery, alternative title sequences, ROM content, and then a note on aspect ratio there, and the back of the booklet here, which is a extension of the DVD Blu-ray cover art and kind of credits for the people that put together this 60th anniversary Blu-ray release. Quatermass has always been kind of known as the major kind of precursor to Doctor Who. There's been a couple others out there that are kind of known as precursors to Doctor Who, such as the Target Luna and Free Pathfinders serials done in the early 60s. Sadly, of which no episodes of Target Luna exist, but all of the episodes from the Free Pathfinders serials have been found over the years and eventually released on DVD. And then there was also like a late 50s radio serial series of 4 serials called Adventures into Space or something like that. I don't know the name of it exactly, but those two, as well as Quatermass, are kind of seen as the forefathers, the foundation blocks for Doctor Who, with Quatermass arguably being the most iconic and most well known out of those 3 kind of precursors to Doctor Who. And I will say that if you love early Doctor Who, especially the first 7 seasons, and if you're just interested in general about where Doctor Who came from, I would highly recommend checking out the 50s serials of Quatermass. Now, to quickly mention something, as I detailed in my previous video, only the first 2 episodes of the Quatermass experiment exist, and the other 4 have absolutely no chance at all of ever being returned or found. This is because the only way to preserve this serial at the time of 1953 was to literally point a camera at the TV and record the episode as it was going out, and they only did that for the first 2 episodes and didn't repeat the process for the remaining 4 because the BBC apparently weren't happy with how the quality of how those recordings went. So if you're wanting to really kind of check out the Quatermass experiment and what have you, from what I have seen, I would highly recommend the movie adaptation done by Hammer, as that is a fantastic telling of the story, and it's just a fantastic movie overall. Quatermass 2 I have seen, and it's an absolutely fantastic serial, and one that will definitely appeal to Jon Pertwee fans of Doctor Who. It is basically a hybrid of Spearhead from Space and Inferno from the 7th season of Doctor Who, with these mysterious objects falling to Earth like Spearhead from Space did, and Inferno's elements are it's basically leading to this kind of possessive element, work plant. It's a very interesting kind of thing to watch from the perspective of a Whovian, because a fusion of Spearhead from Space and Inferno is most appropriate. I know that sounds like a little pretentious of myself, but you definitely see what I mean if you end up watching Quatermass 2, and it is an absolutely fantastic television serial, and I would strongly recommend it if you are a fan of Jon Pertwee's Doctor and the 7th season of Doctor Who, particularly Spearhead from Space and Inferno. With regards to the actual movie adaptation of Quatermass 2 done by Hammer, that is something I have not seen yet, so I can't really give any comment on it. And then we have Quatermass and the Pit. This, in terms of like which is the one to watch, this is pretty much the one to watch. Quatermass 2 in a way is kind of overshadowed by the Quatermass experiment and Quatermass and the Pit, because they were 2 kind of huge stories, and then you've got this kind of sequel in the middle that is seen generally to be not as good as Experiment or the Pit, and is kind of overshadowed with regards to that. The Pit itself is a fantastic television serial. It's been quite a while since I have actually seen it, probably about a year and a half, and it is definitely something that I would need to watch again, but I would still highly recommend it if you are into early science fiction and early Doctor and curious to see the origins of early Doctor Who, and it is absolutely fantastic, and I would also highly recommend it. In terms of what DVD release out of the 3 here to get and obtain, I would say that it would be good to get both of them, but I would start off with Quatermass and the Pit Blu-ray personally, as I feel like that is such a fantastic way to start off exploring the Quatermass kind of franchise, as it were, and it is just a fantastic Blu-ray package to get as well. We get some fantastic special features in there, and the restoration for this 60-year-old program is absolutely stunning, and I've also heard that it's miles superior to the DVD version included in this box set, but I haven't done kind of comparisons or what have you to it, and it has a lot of special features in it that this set doesn't as well. For example, the only special feature ported over from this DVD box set in this is the Making Demons featurette, which I talked about earlier, and it's just an absolutely fantastic release and serial, and I would highly recommend getting this to start off your journey with Quatermass, and the movie adaptation as well done by Hammer, which is the only one done in colour, is absolutely fantastic as well, and that is a great way of starting off with Hammer movies, I would have said personally, but do start with the serial. And in terms of this, an interesting thing to bring up, this here is the only way to get the Quatermass experiment surviving material and to get Quatermass to the actual television serial in a physical kind of DVD release, to my knowledge. So if you're interested in Quatermass and you've viewed Quatermass and the Pit, I would highly recommend getting this box set here. They're about £15 a piece, these DVD releases, and they are absolutely fantastic. Both have tons of special features and are both fantastic watches, but I would recommend starting off with this Blu-ray here because it's an absolutely fantastic restoration and an absolutely fantastic way to look into early Doctor Who. Start off with Nigel Neal's kind of work and what have you, and the movie adaptation as well by Hammer is also fantastic and is a great way to start like a journey with Hammer movies. It's a fantastic first Hammer movie, but I would recommend watching the television serial first. So I hope you guys enjoyed my overview of the 50s serial franchise of Quatermass with regards to the TV versions and the movies, kind of general releases and what have you, that kind of type of overview video. But either ways, I'm kind of rambling on at this point. So like, fair, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of general kind of overview video. Pitch Gold Black dematerializing.